Hi, good afternoon. We finished making the two halves of our pinch pots, and you notice that these are really well wrapped. Um, and this is the way you should be wrapping your pieces. I'm going to take this out. I'll show you how to wrap that back up when we're done. Here's one part, and I have the rim of these two pots are going should match. And I'm going to keep the plastic bags because I'm going to need them later. And here are these two pinch pots, and they look pretty good. I'm more concerned with the outside than the inside. This one has a bit of a flatter bottom in it, and I'm going to go back and fix these wrinkles in here later on. I'm not going to do that quite now because I'm more concerned with getting these wrapped. This clay was so wet, I left it out for 45 minutes to dry a bit because it was just soaking wet. It's also really heavy. So I have these two. This one is going to go on top of this one. It's a little bit smaller and it's going to have a shape. The bottom has a bigger bottom and the top has a slightly more pointed. It's not pointed, but a little bit more, it's not quite so flat. So I'm going to take the kind of things that you guys have at home, and you can be pretty flexible with clay. That's the amazing part. I have the water that you're going to need, and in lieu of a potter's needle, I am using a safety pin. So I'm going to score the sides of these two pinch pots. And this is white clay. This is going to be completely white when it's done. It's kind of deceptive because it goes, wow, that's so dark. It's a beautiful color, but it will be white in the end. And I'm going to go back and do this to the other side. And if you notice, both these rims, they match. They do match. And I am scoring. I'm scoring. And the scoring, it's sort of like when they want to repave a new street and they have to chew up the old street to put the new street on. That's kind of what we're doing. So that's nice and chewed up. And in this case, because we're at home and you don't have slip, we're not going to use. Normally, I have this silk. It's like the Cadillac of slip, but we don't have that here. So we're going to use the water instead. So I'm going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to smooth this out. And what it does is it's filling the grooves with water and also softening the clay, even though this is super soft already. And you know what? Whenever you attach clay together, you should always use slip or a method like this. This is so wet, it's okay. All right. Now, I want these to be a really good matching shape because I don't want them to indent when I attach them. So now I'm going to attach these two, and that's pretty good. And I'm going to make them match, and then I'm going to kind of like shush them back and forth, squeeze them a little bit. And I'm going to try to check it that it's matching on all sides. This is good. And you're going to push it together, and now you're going to leave it. And it would be tough to take this apart if you wanted to. So that's not bad. It has a nice line to it going this way and this way. This is still the bottom half. And if you want to, if you get confused, you could mark the bottom with an X so you make sure that just remember that that's the bottom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into I have this spare clay over here, and I'm going to take a little piece out of there. And in the video that I showed you, the YouTube video of this wonderful artist and her demonstration, she put these two together. And I was going to have you guys use a rolling pin, but I thought, why? There's this wonderful way she has, and you do this, you roll this clay out nice and even with your forearm. Who knew? It's such a great idea. I'm going to put this over here for a second so I have enough room. This camera is always really small. And I'm going to roll this out. I'm using my arm. And you know what? The bottom of your arm is fairly flat too. It's kind of amazing. So This is a little bit too big, so I'm going to take off some of this because I don't need it. I'm going to put this back in my spare clay bag, and I'm going to start using my hand. This has got this ridge in here, so that's not so great, but that's okay. I'm still working on newspaper. If you wanted to use the hand, is actually, honest to God, your arm is better than your hand. Now I have a pretty thick groove that I have to fill with this. And this is called a coil. And I'm checking to make sure it's big enough. Not quite big enough. I want to make it a little bit longer. And you make it longer by rolling it. And then as you roll it, it becomes longer. Okay, so I have my coil here, and I'm going to hold this in my hand carefully, and I'm going to put this coil in the groove all the way and press it in, just lightly press it in. You have to be really careful with this all together so that you don't dent it, because it's hard to undent. And if you notice my lines, the actual silhouette of this, it's pretty good. I'm going to nip this off because I don't need it. I'm going to put it back in the bag. Don't leave the stuff hanging around. I have all my my extra clay in here. So now I'm going to put this in here, and I have my old Amtrak guest cards, reward cards here. And I'm going to press this in. And you know what? The best thing that you can do with clay this soft is just to use your hands. Don't over press it. I'm going to press it down to go this way, and then I want to press it up. And you're filling that groove in the middle so that we can't see it anymore. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to turn this around. And I'm watching my shape. This thing is so you have to literally cup your whole hand so it holds the whole thing, holds the entire piece of clay with your fingers, your palms, like this. All right, I'm going to go around a little bit more. Then I want to take the credit card. The it's just a regular card that I was getting rid of, and I'm going to go back over this, and you're kind of scraping just ever so gently on the top, and you want to check that your groove is gone. You can also, this is a wonderful way of also using clays with a wooden spoon, and I'm going to go around like this. And I have a lot of little things that I have to get rid of. As you're doing this, also make sure that your surface that you're working on is clean. And you can also curve this too to help you watch the contour and the contour outside edge of your clay piece. You know what? This is really nice. This is a really good shape. It's even. As you can see, I still have some stuff in here that I have to take care of, but oops. And you want to clean this off, by the way, and don't clean it off because you get these little dry things eventually. If you want to, you can take this, and here in the sun, you can see every blemish. Well, actually, you can't see it from there, but you could take a flashlight on it if you really wanted to see all the blemishes in here. But I think for now, I think this is good. That is joining. This is joining your two pinch pot halves. Now I'm going to do one more thing I want you to watch. Whenever you wrap up clay, I find it's a really good way to do it. You put your hand in the bag, inside the bag, and then with the inside of the bag, outside of the bag, you grab the top of your egg. It's not an egg, it's a vessel. And you're going to drag this over like this, all the way, and nice and tight. You're going to roll this up like this, not roll it, curl it up into a thing like this, and then place it on the clay. And this could stay dry for months, and that's what I want you to get in the habit of doing.